Congratulations on being here. I just want to say that in Forsyth County, we always strive to be the best. And if you're here today, out of thousands of people, you were chosen as one of the best of the best. So congratulations on being here. Welcome to Forsyth County and New Educator Orientation. I'm Darla Light, and I'm humbled to serve as the chairperson for the Forsyth County Schools, a district from which my parents graduated, I graduated, and where my 3 children graduated as well. Thank you for being here today. Please allow me to take a moment to introduce the 4 other members of our Board of Education. And these guys you'll probably see throughout the year. We all try to get into the schools, and they're such a pleasure to work with, and you can always be assured that we may not always agree, but we always try to do what's best for kids. First, we have Kristen Morrissey, who's Vice Chair. Oh, here she is. Ann Crow, who is the Cumming District. Tom Cleveland, right there, and Nancy Roach, who's District 5. All please stand as Vice Chair Kristen Morrissey leads us in the pledge in a moment of silence.
Good morning. Salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please do a moment of silence to reflect as you feel fit? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm honored to present Lambert High School student Thomas McFerrin for today's student performance. Thomas?
If you think I'm all talk, you're in for a shock, 'cause this dream's too strong, and before too long, maybe I'll compose symphonies, maybe I'll fight for world peace, 'cause I know it's my destiny, and I believe in my heart, I'm ready to start. I want to do something that matters, say something different, something that makes the whole world go to sleep. Something in this life, be inspiration. With the people around you, with the people near you, you hold power, you hold sway over people's lives, you shape people. Just know that. know that teachers have formed my life, and teachers shaped me into who I am and everything that I want to be, all my aspirations. I wouldn't be here if it's not for Carly Berg. I would not be here for any other teacher in my room, for any other teacher that I've ever studied under, for any other teacher that's ever helped me through any hard time in my life or anything that I've ever been going through. I'm so eternally grateful for every teacher that has ever put time in me, that has ever cared for me, and that has ever been with me. You have that power with students. Y'all are amazing. Just let them know that you're here. Just let them know that you're here.
As a seventh generation Forsyth County, and I'm honored to share some information with you about how we got where we are today, both as a county and as a school district. This area was first inhabited by the Mississippi Indian civilization and then followed for centuries by the Creek and Cherokee nations. Forsyth County was created in 1832 from Cherokee County and was conveniently situated between the Hall County and Dahlonega Gold Belts. The county soil was not suited for growing crops, so there was not a lot of growth or change during and after the Civil War. After the Depression in World War II, a new crop, however, was introduced to Forsyth County, chicken farming. It greatly impacted the standard of living for our rural area, which included a large number of children becoming first-generation college graduates. And still today, if you're ever mainly North Forsyth, and you smell a chicken house and you're with an old-timer, if you say, "What is that smell?" they'll say, "It smells like money to me." Then in the 1950s, Buford Dam was built on the Chattahoochee and Lake Lanier was formed to become a major water source for the metropolitan Atlanta area. Now, more than 7.5 million people annually visit Lake Lanier, making it one of the most visited and used Army Corps of Engineers lakes in the country. In the 70s, Georgia 400 was opened to provide a quicker transportation route to and from Atlanta. It was the biggest thing that ever happened to us. Burt Reynolds came and filmed Smokey and the Bandit. Now, as I'm sure many of you are aware, it is receiving a much-needed expansion to relieve traffic congestion. From 1970 to 2000, our population increased 481%. While from 2000 to 2010, it increased 78%. When I graduated from high school in 1980, I know y'all can't believe I'm that old, there was 27,000 people in this whole county. And I think that we're going to open the schools with almost 46,000 students. So that gives you a little idea of how much we've grown. We're consistently ranked as one of the fastest growing counties in the United States and expect this trend to continue into the future. Our school district's history started in 1873 when field schools, which were log buildings built in cleared Native American fields, were consolidated into one public district. In 1874, Forsyth County schools had 1,456 students in 32 schools, and teachers were paid $29.97 a month. Thank goodness that's not true. Since that time, the consolidation of community schools occurred as the county changed from strictly agricultural to more diversified. Shown in this slide is the former Cumming High School, which my parents graduated from, now the City of Cumming Playhouse, which was replaced in the 50s by Forsyth County High School, where I graduated from, now called Forsyth Central, shown to its right. Our history is very important to our district, and we've named many of our new schools after former field schools and local and school leaders. Today, Forsyth County is home to over 212,000 people. Our strong economy, highly educated residents, and talented workforce have allowed us to be home to more than 60 international companies. We also have over 20 parks in the county. Most notable are Sony Mountain Preserve, Pools Mill Covered Bridge, and the Big Creek Greenway, shown on this slide. Many events and activities are held annually throughout our community, such as the Coming Country Fair and the July 4th Steam Engine Parade. You have to see them if you haven't. All these offerings make Forsyth County one of the best areas in the country to live, work, and play. Now that you know how we got here and some information about our community, I'm pleased to turn over the presentation to our superintendent so you can learn who we are and where we are going. And throughout the year, you'll probably see Dr. Bearden. Don't panic if he comes in your class and sits down with your kids, because he's been with us 3 years now, and I don't know how many classrooms he's visited. But I will tell you that the one thing that's impressed me the most about Dr. Bearden since we hired him is he's all about you. He's about the people on the front lines that matter the most, the educators that are with the kids every day and that are doing what's right for the kids. So now I'd like to introduce Dr. Jeff Bearden.
Thank you, Darla. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. First of all, let me thank Dr. Gary Davison, principal here at Lambert High School, and his entire faculty and staff for allowing us to host you this morning. As you could probably see when you visit this facility, it's one of many in our school system that's under some renovation. We still have some last-minute work to get ready for students next week, but Dr. Davison was very generous in allowing you to be here this morning, so thank you to Lambert High School for hosting today. I also want to thank you for being part of our family. I wanted to ask, we had a job fair earlier this year in February, and we had more than 1,000 folks attend that job fair. If you would, raise your hand if you attended our job fair back in February. All right. That tells me right now that job fair is worth having, absolutely. Before I begin the district overview, I want to share a little information about you guys. There's 380 new educators in our auditorium this morning. First of all, we have 33 former paraprofessionals who are appointed to teachers that were in our school system. 27 of you were former Forsyth County substitute teachers, and 24 are returning Forsyth County teachers, left us, saw the light, and came back. If you're a member of one of those groups, will you please stand and be recognized? We have a number of new educators that are joining us from 10 states outside of Georgia, with most coming from Florida. The beach isn't always so great, right? We also have 2 married couples in our group, and our goal is for them to still be married at the end of the school year. We set lofty standards in our school system. So if you are from out of state joining us in Forsyth County, or if you're one of our 2 married couples, will you please stand and be recognized? I do want to know, are the married couples sitting together? Okay, that's good. Awesome. You're off to a great start. 48 of you recently graduated from college, with most coming from the University of Georgia, go Dogs, and the University of North Georgia. If you are a recent college graduate, please stand and be recognized. You get younger every year, or I get older every year. I'm not sure which one it is. Lastly, we have a number of Georgia teachers who are joining Forsyth County Schools from 12 other school districts in our state. 48 of you are coming from Gwinnett County and 43 from Fulton County. Please stand if you're joining us from another school system. I will still maintain a good relationship with my colleagues in Gwinnett and Fulton, I'm sure. So who is Forsyth County Schools today? First, we're home to 4,600 employees. We have close to a $370 million budget. 73% of those funds are tied directly to instruction. We currently have 37 total schools, 21 elementary, 10 middle, 5 high schools, one non-traditional virtual 8-12 school, Forsyth Virtual Academy, and 2 of our schools are brand new this year, Brandywine Elementary and DeSana Middle School. And let me give you your first lesson of the day. It's pronounced DeSana, not DeSana, DeSana. So if you're confused, think of Santa Claus, DeSana, and you'll get it right. That's what I've been told numerous times because I've made that mistake. So what kind of family have you joined? Well, first of all, as Darla said, we're a large school system. We will open our doors next Thursday to 46,000 students. But one of the many things that makes Forsyth County Schools special is that even with our growth, we still maintain a small town feel and form connections that go beyond the walls of our schools. Even with our district's growth of close to 2,000 students each year, think about that for a second. We have grown the last 5 years by about 2,000 students every single year. Puts a lot of pressure on construction and renovation, but it's a really nice challenge to have. I get asked frequently how our district compares to others in Metro Atlanta and also of like size. On this chart, you can see that we're the 7th largest school system out of 195 in our state, and our cost per pupil, which we're really proud of, is the lowest in Metro Atlanta, and also the lowest among all of the large school districts in our state. In addition, we have had the highest CCRPI score in the entire state of Georgia. Let me repeat that. Number 1, the highest CCRPI state score in the entire state of Georgia. We also have, yes. We were also the only school system in our state to receive a 5-star financial rating by the Department of Education. We had the highest graduation rate in Metro Atlanta. We also had the highest ACT score, the highest SAT math score in the state, and also in comparison to Metro Atlanta, this year we had the highest overall SAT score. These accomplishments are because we have excellent teachers. You are joining a very, very talented staff. I can assure you of that. We have very hardworking students. And you will also find, and you will appreciate, and I appreciate being a former teacher, you have very conscientious students. You have very respectful students. You have students who come to work, and they do come to work every day prepared, and you will appreciate that for sure. We also have incredibly supportive parents and a very, very supportive business community. Forsyth County Schools is proud to be one of the top districts, not only in Georgia, but in our entire country. This success has been accomplished through dedication to our mission and a commitment to continuous improvement throughout the cooperative efforts of all stakeholders. The district's 2013-16 strategic plan supports achieving our vision, quality learning, and superior performance for all. It's not just for our students, but it's for our staff and our community. But our success did not happen overnight. It has been a progress. It's been a growth progress. It started with the hard work and commitment of a few around solid beliefs, which led to many more joining our district to further our mission. This morning, we ask that you allow these to become shared beliefs because we take the beliefs on the screen seriously. These shared beliefs are the heart of what makes Forsyth County Schools work so well. I referred to our school district as the Forsyth County Schools family earlier, and I use that word family intentionally. We really do consider our staff, our students, and their families member of the Forsyth County Schools family. We are an extremely progressive school system, yet we maintain a welcoming, caring culture. Our primary customer is the individual student. As you can see, the student is at the center of everything we do. The district works collaboratively with other customers such as staff, parents, citizens, and businesses to support students in Forsyth County Schools. With every decision we make, from school board member to teacher to bus driver, we always ask, what is best for the student? As Darla said, I began my tenure as superintendent for Forsyth County Schools a couple years ago. And since then, I have had the good fortune of visiting hundreds of classrooms. What have I observed? I have observed a culture and climate conducive to learning. Student-centered classrooms, not a lot of sit and get. Technology being used to differentiate instruction, to make learning more relevant and engaging, and to increase student achievement. I also have observed a team of professionals who truly care about their students. More and more I see teachers personalizing the learning experience for our children. You will learn more about personalized learning throughout this school year. You need to become very, very familiar. This is the direction our school system is headed. Lastly, I've observed that our schools are not all alike, but they are all excellent. When I speak with parents looking to possibly move into our community, I recommend that they find where they want to live first and not worry about which school their child will attend. Why? They have the opportunity to receive a quality education regardless of where they attend school. Our schools are not cookie cutter, but we are a school system, not a system of individual schools. For example, the guiding question for me when I visit any school or any classroom, and I'll probably be in a number of your classrooms throughout the course of the year. It's one of my favorite things about my job is going out and watching our teachers and our students interact. So what am I looking for when I visit your classroom? The guiding question for me is always the same. Would I want my own child to attend this school or to be in the classrooms? If the answer to that question is yes, great. If the answer is no, or I'm not sure, the next question I have for your principal is, what are we doing about it? Because if it's not good enough for my child, if it's not good enough for your child, it's not good enough for any child. As a new teacher to our system, I encourage you to align all of your work to our learner profile. The learner profile describes the traits and attributes of our students attending and graduating from Forsyth County Schools. The learner profile is on the back of your agenda. It doesn't matter if you're teaching kindergarten or if you're teaching high school seniors. The learner profile is the work of Forsyth County Schools. All of our district-wide decisions, all of them around teaching and learning, are aligned with the learner profile. You will learn more details about the learner profile at your base school. The learner profile is prominently displayed throughout our district and must be displayed in every classroom. Don't just hang it on the wall. Align your work and discuss it with your students so they understand what it means to their education and to their future. I have another question for you. How many of you completed your first It's Learning professional learning session? Awesome. As many of you know, It's Learning is our learning management system. This system allows us to communicate clearly, consistently, and effectively with students and parents about assignments and expectations. Teachers are required to use It's Learning in a consistent manner. The use of It's Learning is one of our very few non-negotiables. We do not have many in this system, but this is one of them. In addition to being our tool to recover instruction when we close school due to inclement weather, it is also used daily in class and in our students' homes at night. I urge you to become familiar with it quickly. As I close on the district overview, it is important to recap last year and look towards our new school year. 2015-16 could be described as a year of construction and renovation. While many of our schools received important improvements, our biggest projects are listed on the screen. The two new schools, Brandywine and DeSanta, as well as the middle schools and Lambert High School, will all be completed by the end of this month. While for the remaining schools, the first phase of work will open this month to be followed by another year's worth of work on their campuses. Again, please be patient with us throughout the renovation process. It's very important work, but we know it can be a little bit disruptive. Additionally, West Forsyth High School will also have additions to their campus this year. We are thrilled this year to begin work on our 6th traditional high school, Denmark High School, named after one of the first female physicians in Georgia, Dr. Lila Denmark, and on the new college and career high school, the Alliance Academy for Innovation. Alliance is a joint project of the City of Cumming, the Forsyth County Public Facilities Authority, and Forsyth County Government, along with the University of North Georgia and Lanier Tech. Denmark High School, when it opens in 2018, 2 years from now, will have a capacity for 2,500 students. And Alliance Academy, also scheduled to open in the fall of 2018, will be a high school, 9-12 school for 1,200 students. And that will focus on high career and high demand jobs. Additionally, this new school year, we are placing a SPLOST renewal on the November ballot to make payments on voter-approved bonds, constructing a new strategic plan for the district, and undergoing national accreditation. It's going to be a very busy year for all of us in Forsyth County Schools. Yes, in Forsyth County Schools, we are making it happen. I thank you for this opportunity to share with you just a glimpse into the many ways we look to achieve quality learning and superior performance for all. I'm now excited to show you the 2015-16 highlight video. As new members of Forsyth County Schools family, you play a crucial role in our work. We have 3 of our outstanding teachers with us today for you to meet. I would like to first introduce Dr. Cindy Salone, our Associate Superintendent for Human Resources and Legal Services, for the presentation of our 2016 Teacher of the Year. Cindy?
Good morning. It is my pleasure this morning to introduce to you Dr. Andy Poor. He is the 2016 Middle School Teacher of the Year and the Forsyth County School System Teacher of the Year. I can tell you that Dr. Poor has all the degrees he needs to be the Director of Bands at South Forsyth Middle School. His first degree came from the University of Florida, and his master's and his doctorate from the University of Cincinnati. Dr. Poor taught in Cobb and Fayette counties before joining Forsyth County 3 years ago. He too saw the light. He is beginning his 25th year in education, and he is a very active advocate for the arts by joining associations and doing consulting. He and his wife are proud parents of a middle school student at South Forsyth Middle and a college student at the University of Florida. Dr. Poor is serious about his music. In fact, he is so serious about his music responsibilities that he would not pass up a trip with his students to Orlando on the day that it was announced that he was the System Teacher of the Year. We had to Skype with him, Mickey Mouse t-shirt and all, from the celebration so he could be one of the first to know. He does an excellent job every day educating our students into well-rounded, high-achieving students. We are very fortunate to have Dr. Poor in our system. Please help me welcome Dr. Poor.
Thank you, Cindy. Good morning. So 4 years ago, I sat where you sat, a little nervous, a little anxious. I too had seen the light. I'd come from two really strong districts. Little did I know what a great district that I was landing in. I can confidently tell you that you have found a great professional home. This is a place that is supportive, collaborative, progressive, and I am very proud to say that my son is in this school system. I think the biggest thing about this district is that it holds all stakeholders to high expectations. And that was something that I was looking for in my professional career. I am humbled and honored to serve as the Teacher of the Year. There are literally thousands of master teachers who could be standing where I'm standing, and equally qualified, equally excellent. And they're going to be in every building that you're going to be walking into. And I'm confident that some of you are those same master teachers, or you would not have been hired by this district. Today, I only have 4 simple tips for you. These are kind of core philosophies that I have as a teacher. Hopefully a few of these will resonate with you as you begin your journey here. The first one I learned from my mom. And it's a proverb or cliche or a quote. And it says, "Bloom where you were planted." And what that means to me is, regardless of your circumstances, you need to thrive. And you're being planted in very fertile professional soil. Teaching is a tough profession, and we all know that there will be challenges. But in this district, there are also opportunities, and you need to tackle both with the same vigor. Whatever your circumstances may be in the classroom, I tell my students this all the time. When things are tough, that's not your excuse, that's your reality. And you have to find a way to overcome that and still be successful. And I think as teachers, we have to have that same mentality, that grit. Number 2 up there, and this is really big, and if you're in South Forsyth Middle School and I see you, you'll probably hear me talk about this a lot, but I think it's very important that we stay in present time. It's kind of a Zen philosophy, but I also coach baseball, and you'll hear athletes talk about this all the time. One game at a time, the next at bat, the next pitch, the next swing, win the down, win the day. All of that is talking about you have to do what's directly in front of you, and your students need you now. As a profession, I have met many colleagues, some of them sometimes struggling, and a lot of them are stuck in the past. They'll talk about how things used to be, the way kids used to be, the way the school used to be. And unfortunately, all that mental energy is taking them away from the present. I also will see teachers that will say, I only have 5 more years, or 10 more years, or 30 more days until vacation. And unfortunately, all of that makes time go by slower. It drains your energy, and it keeps you from really performing at a high level. And again, your students need you now. When a teacher will come up to me, it usually happens around spring break. They'll go, "Hey, Andy, we only have 30 more days till summer vacation." And I'll think to myself as a band director, well, I have 42 days worth of work in the next 30 days, which is kind of like going up to a marathon runner and saying, "Hey, only 25.2 more miles." And that's not really encouraging. It actually does the opposite. It's kind of a punch in the gut. And so what I choose to do is focus right now, stay in present time. And if you can avoid that same temptation, I can promise you, you will be happier and more productive, not only as a teacher, but as a person. The next philosophy up there is this is my students, I talk about it all the time, this is my core philosophy. It's called the fun cycle. Now you have to remember, I teach beginning band. If you've had a child learn a new instrument, or maybe you remember learning a new instrument, those sounds they resemble animal sounds more than they do musical sounds. And the students literally have to go back to being an infant at something. And we teach a lot of very high-performing, high-successful students, and it's hard for them to go all the way back to being basically illiterate. And the fun cycle goes like this. You learn something new, you work hard, you get better at it, and you have fun. And then you repeat. Now, you have to understand that when these students start to struggle, they'll come to me and they'll say, Dr. Poor, I'm not having any fun. And the first question I'll ask them is, well, how hard are you working? And then they'll go, well, you know, Dr. Poor, I have baseball, and I have SAT classes, and I have martial arts, and I have tennis lessons, and I have a science project, and I'm in accelerated classes. And so my response is, so what you're telling me is that you're not working hard. And they'll go silent, usually, because they don't want to answer it. But the reality is, fun only precedes work in the dictionary. It's never good to be bad at something. It's never good to have to struggle. But if you can ever think back to that point in time when you had to really struggle, and I'm speaking primarily to the new teachers, but even experienced teachers, it's going to be hard. But the harder you work, the better you get, the more fun you have at teaching. And one of my mentor teachers said to me a long time ago, if it was easy, Andy, it wouldn't be any fun. And I believe that to be true. If something was really simple and it didn't take any challenge, we would get bored. And if we got bored, we would not be having any fun. The last tip that I have for you, I learned from my high school math teacher. Mr. Ramsey was a master teacher. When I had him, he was in his 40th year of teaching. And he was a country boy, and he had these little colloquialisms. And one of them was, Mr. Poor, it's your red wagon, you gotta pull it. Now, at the time, I just wanted to pass pre-calc, so I didn't really worry too much about a red wagon. I just wanted to get an A on his test. But it was his way of saying that you have to take ownership. And I have to tell you a real quick story about my student teaching experience. It was actually 29 years ago, because I took some time off to be a professional musician. But when I was student teaching, my supervising teacher got hurt, and she had to take a leave of absence. And every day, at the end of the day, she would call me and say, Andy, so how'd the day go? And you know, we'd kind of go through each class period, and this class went well, and this class was struggling. Well, one day I had one of those days. And if you've been teaching for a while, you know what I mean. And if you haven't taught, you will find out. But it was one of those days where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And so she called me and she said, Andy, how'd it go? And I just started, well, the kids were terrible. They did this and they did this, and you know, Johnny wouldn't listen. In the percussion class, they were doing all the things that I couldn't get them under control. And I went on and on for about 30 seconds, and she stopped me and she said, what'd you do wrong? And I said, well, you know, Susie, she just would not sit down, and the trumpets were terrible, and you know, and I had this interruption, and she stopped me again. She goes, what'd you do wrong? And I kept going. She goes, we're going to keep having this conversation until you tell me what you did wrong. And I didn't want to admit it, but I had to really look in the mirror, and she was right. I didn't pace the lesson right. I didn't handle the situation right. I allowed students to do things that they shouldn't have, and I wasn't proactive enough. And all of those things were a result of everything I did or did not do in the classroom that day. And I was very fortunate that I had that experience as a young teacher and a mentor who held me accountable to that mindset. And so I learned right then that it was my red wagon, and I did have to pull it. Now, pulling your own red wagon doesn't mean that you can't ask for help. There are a lot of master teachers in the buildings, and reach out for that resource and let them help you be that successful teacher. But know that at the end, everything that happens in your classroom is a result of something you did or did not do. And never lose sight of that. So, in closing, welcome to Forsyth. I'm confident you have found a great professional home, and I hope you guys have an awesome year. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And I've had a chance to observe his classrooms on several occasions, and he truly is an outstanding teacher. This morning, we are proud to also welcome members of our governing committee from our new Forsyth County Education Foundation, and they are going to recognize today's signature sponsors.
Thank you. This September, we are honored and proud to be providing the first grants from the Forsyth County Education Foundation, which is led by a governing committee of 5 business and community leaders. The foundation started with $10,000 provided by RBM of Alpharetta. We are excited this spring when we were given $100,000 by Beaver Toyota. The funds raised today from our new Educator orientation, signature sponsors, and table vendors will also go directly to the foundation to provide funds for innovative grants for our schools. I want to thank representatives with us today from Page, from GAE, and from Educators First for attending and for recognizing our signature sponsors. If you would please come to the stage as we introduce you.
Children's Healthcare Atlanta Forsyth is located at the collection right off of exit 13, Georgia 400. They are partners with all Forsyth schools and support the district's Principal for a Day program. Evan Perfetta State Farm Insurance Agency is located on Old Atlanta Road near South Forsyth Middle School. Evan and his team are proud to serve the insurance needs of Forsyth County educators.
Good morning. I'm Brian Ritchie, and I have 2 students in Forsyth County Schools. Glad to have them here. You guys have done a great job. I'm here to introduce 2 sponsors, Georgia United Credit Union. It's a not-for-profit financial cooperative. They're located on Highway 20, and they offer a variety of financial services to our Forsyth County school staff. The other is John Heath and his Your Results-oriented REMAX team. They've worked with Forsyth County for over a decade. What's really neat about their sponsorship is if you refer a family, a parent, a teacher, a staff member to him, and it results in a closing, they donate $1,000 to an approved Forsyth County school program.
Good morning and congratulations on making truly one of the best professional decisions that you could have possibly made. I'm Laurie Cole from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and I just want to say that we are so proud to be part of the Forsyth family as a business partner. One of the things that we share in common is that Children's Healthcare of Atlanta employees and the Forsyth County school system employees wake up every morning with the same goal: to make the difference in the life of a child. And so we partner with you to make that difference. We are here for you to support you in the community, and also we have been able to serve you as medical providers for some of your children or even some of your family members. We do have 3 hospitals. We're one of the top leading pediatric facilities in the country. And we also have 26 neighborhood locations, which are urgent cares. One that's closest to us is on 141 at the collection. I was asked that question this morning. I hope some of you were able to stop by and pick up a small token of our appreciation. And if you didn't get by, please come by on one of your breaks. Welcome to Forsyth, and thank you for allowing us to be a partner with you.
Well, I will say that I have 5 kids, so we use Children's Healthcare of Atlanta and the Forsyth County School System together. My name is Amy Perlman. I'm with Evan Perfetta State Farm. We are right down the road here from Lambert. I'm speaking on behalf of Evan today. He was out of town. We are grateful also to be partners in education with you. Again, like my kids are in the school system as well, so very familiar with it, very proud to be part of this community. Evan is an alumni of Forsyth himself, whereas I'm a transplant, been here 10 years, but my family and I absolutely love it. This is home. We just want you to know that we will take the same time and care you give our kids to make sure that your insurance will fit the needs of your family. Kids grow, needs change over time. Families with young children need life insurance. Families with teen drivers need affordable options and proper liability coverage. And sometimes you just need proper professional insurance advice. So I want to let you know that we are available as a resource to you right down the road. Stop in. If you need to reevaluate your needs and insurance, I do encourage you to have someone look at that. And most importantly, get enough. Or if you just need a great rate on car insurance, we can help you with that too. So have a great year. I appreciate your time.
Good morning, everyone. I know there's a lot of anxiousness in this room, the feeling in your stomach of what is my blackboard and my bulletin board going to look like? Do I go Minions this year or traditional current events? You see, I understand what you're feeling right now. I'm a retired educator. I love teaching in the classroom, but now I'm in business and community development with an emphasis in financial education and financial literacy for Georgia United Credit Union. I help teach high school students, faculty, and staff, as well as college students at the University of Georgia and our 435 partner companies around the state of Georgia. So you can see my education plate is still rather full. What I want you to know is all of you are very special to us. You are eligible to join Georgia United Credit Union. The basic thing I tell people, and I'm not a financial professional, is that we do everything a bank does, but we don't have shareholders to pay. We pass the savings on to you in the form of lower interest rates on car loans and mortgages and completely free checking accounts. Once you join us, you become part of the cooperative that allows for you to visit over the 5,000 credit unions around the country and do business into your Georgia United account. And I just want you to know on a special final note that I had the pleasure of sitting on the Parent Community Advisory Committee this past year as a representative. And the vision and insight that Dr. Bearden and the people in Forsyth County share is unmatched in Metro Atlanta. And I think all of you are very blessed to be part of that. Thank you and have a great year.
Good morning. Welcome. As y'all heard this morning, we have a pretty impressive school system. And what y'all do really makes my job easy. We have probably one of the best school systems in the country, and we also have, you may not know this, but the lowest property taxes rate pretty much in Metro Atlanta. So we get a lot of people wanting to move here, and it's pretty impressive the numbers we saw earlier to do as well as we do on tests and keep our costs where they are. I really want to congratulate Dr. Bearden and the school board and all the administrators in making that happen. We are actually one of the few counties when you reach 65 years of age, those people don't even pay the school tax, and yet we're still able to run the best school system in the state. So I want to go around with all this to our board. As mentioned, we've been a partner in the system for actually close to 15 years now. When I left corporate back in 2001, one of my goals in my new career choice was to partner in the community. And my team and I have been blessed to serve the community in a variety of ways. We've served on a variety of boards. We've been honored to have been recognized as a partner in the year in the school system. I've been honored to serve on the Teacher of the Year School Selection Committee for the last 2 years. And I got to tell you, that experience is overwhelming. As mentioned earlier, there is not a bad school in our system. It is really hard to choose the Dr. Poors each year because we have a lot of great teachers out there, and we're honored to be part of it. One of the things I think makes our system great is we are a partner. The school system partners with the community, and the community partners with the school system. And your business partners at your various schools really do a good job, I think, in supporting you guys in a variety of ways. The way that we've decided to do that is, as mentioned earlier, we have a program where if you refer somebody to us, we'll donate $1,000 to your school. If you yourself, I know we met some people this morning out at our table that are thinking of buying or selling. If you use us yourself, we'll give $500 back to you and $500 to your school system. Through this program, and normally I have a check at this event every year because we've done this for a number of years now, and normally I have one of these big checks to present, or a couple of them, but we were honored to sponsor the administrative retreat last month, and at that event we gave away $3,000 in donations. So that brought our total to over $95,000 in donations to Forsyth County Schools. I brought one of my lending partners with me today. They helped sponsor this event for us, Bay Equity. Sonia Bullard sitting down front. She's going to help me in just a minute. But if anybody is thinking about moving sometime soon, stop by our table. A lot of you looked at us like we were crazy when we wanted you to sign up this morning. So when this young lady here wins this $50 gift card in a minute, maybe y'all come by at the break and trust us, since you can see we're not too crazy. But Sonia also has some information on the Loans to Heroes program, which are for teachers and police and firemen, that are a unique program that also help you guys financially if you're looking to buy a house. So please stop by, get some information on that. We all know that, talk, teach, and only a little bit's retained. So I want you to remember just 3 things this morning. The preeminent realtor to the school system, okay? Dr. Beard's a past client. And free money, okay? So I'm giving away a lot of free money. I'm going to give away $50 in free money now, and then we're going to do $50 again later today. We'll get it with Hannah, and she'll meet up. But that'll give those of you that didn't have time, you're running late, sign up, you can come by and sign up. If Audrey Freeman would raise her hand, Sonia will bring you your gift card. Thank you guys for everything you do, and have a great year. Thank you for our sponsors. All right, please join me in welcoming Fonda Harrison, the Associate Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. She's going to introduce our elementary school Teacher of the Year and our high school Teacher of the Year.
Good morning. Unfortunately, our high school Teacher of the Year was unable to attend today, so I will be introducing the elementary Teacher of the Year, and I'm honored to do so. Sharon Nizilik received her bachelor's degree from the University of Georgia, go Dogs, her master's degree from Connecticut College, and also again, go Dogs, her specialist from the University of Georgia. She's been teaching since 1989 and taught pre-K through 3rd grade. Sharon joined the Forsyth County School System in 1997 and has been teaching 1st grade at Chestatee Elementary since 2006. Sharon is recognized as a teacher leader at her school and also as a leader across our district of teachers. Please join me in welcoming Sharon to the podium.
Good morning. My teaching career took 2 distinct paths. My first path was before I had children, the 9 years that I taught before. And then I took 7 years off as I raised my children, and then I came back to school. And so when I think of my teaching career, I kind of think of a before kids and after kids. Before I had children of my own, I was a good teacher. I cared about the students in my class. I got to work early and I stayed late. I worked on my advanced degrees in graduate school at Georgia. And I knew all the educational lingo and the acronyms and the latest techniques and teaching strategies. I was just a good, solid teacher. After 7 years at home with my own children, I decided to go back to teaching. You can see this was my first year back, and my whole family was excited. Emily, as she got to help me get my classroom ready, and Drew, as he just played. But I didn't think about the impact that would have on me when I went back to teaching. As we got our room ready, that was fun, but I didn't think about at open house when my son started kindergarten that I wouldn't be the one to walk him down and meet his teacher for the first time, that his sister Emily would. And I didn't think about the first day of school, instead of loading him on the bus and taking the picture that we would have forever, I would be at school getting ready to greet my own first graders. So as I stood outside my classroom that first day of school, you can see the back of Drew and his little backpack as he's walking away from me. And I remember standing there and having tears in my eyes as I watched him walk away from me. And then I turned around, and there was this little boy named Joey looking at me. And today I'd like to share the story with you on how this little guy made me a better teacher. The similarities between Joey and my little boy Drew were irrefutable. They had similar personalities, they had similar hobbies, they had the same likes and dislikes, they had sports that they both loved. Joey, in fact, they were so similar, I remember at curriculum night, turning to his mother Deb, who I'd never met before, and telling her that her son made going back to teaching easier for me, because every time I looked at Joey, it reminded me of Drew. It was almost as if Drew was still in my classroom. And when I watched her reaction when I told her that, it reminded me that these parents of the kids in your classroom were just as sad as I was to have Drew leave me. His mama felt the very same way about her child that I got to spend the day with. This realization changed the way that I saw children in my class. I began to look at teaching through a different lens. Every child in my class was somebody's heart and soul. Some other mama's heart was broken for him to come into my room, just as my heart was broken for Drew to leave me. This was the first lesson that Joe taught me. He taught me how good teaching could be if I formed deep relationships with my students and their families. He wasn't just a kid, he was somebody's kid. How would I want someone to respond to my child? Because I would want Drew's teacher to give him an extra hug if his feelings were hurt or if he fell in the playground. I'd want his teacher to listen to that joke for the 5th time that he wanted to tell me. Or I would want that teacher to help my child if I was a bad mom that day and forgot to give him his snack. Just as I began to think about what I'd want for my own child, that's what I started to think of for my students. My students weren't just my students, they were a son or a daughter. I listened and learned what made them tick, what got them excited. For example, Joe loved any competition. So in math, instead of just doing math problems, we'd turn it into a game where he could earn points. And he would nearly jump out of his skin to do one more math problem just so he could earn his team an extra point. Or as a reading teacher, I knew what would make Joe a better reader would be to read more. So to motivate him, we would tell him, you could be a 100-king reader for the day if you read 100 books. And boy, did that motivate him. You can see in this picture on his crown that took me about 10 seconds to make, He not only was 100 King Reader for the day, he's 300 and it was only February. After the year of Joe, we became family friends. Drew and Joe became closer, and they played on many sports teams together. Years later, I found myself in Joe's room, and as I was looking around his room, I saw all his baseball trophies lined up on the wall. And then something caught my eye. It was that crown that you saw earlier, right next to his prized baseball trophies. That crown that took me about 10 seconds to make, and I almost got too busy to make it to begin with. That's when Joe taught me my second lesson, that it's those small things that we do for our kids. It's the little interactions we have, that crown, a tooth box, a hug, a Band-Aid, a fun way to learn north, east, south, and west. It's all those little things that we do that sometimes we think we don't have enough time to do that make the biggest impact, much more so than you can ever realize. A year ago today, nine years after Joe was in my class, he taught me my third lesson. You see, Joe and his grandfather were in a tragic car accident, leaving the golf course after playing around golf with my son. At just 15 years old, Joe left this world and us and went to heaven. He taught me that life with children in my class is precious, and I can never take it for granted. I don't know how long they will be in my life or the impact that I will make, but every minute I have, I need to take time to listen to their stories. I need to get to know each one as my own, and I need to teach as I would want Emily, Drew, and Joe to be taught. I need to build those relationships and take time to teach in a way that gives each child joy, such as the math competitions and the 100 Kings crown. The North community was hit hard this year as we were reminded again when a boy in my daughter's graduating class, just a few weeks away from graduation, lost his life in another tragic accident as he was driving home from an AP study session. And do you know who spoke at his funeral? It was a teacher. Someone who had taken the time to listen, talk, and joke with him, as well as teach Trent. She told stories that brought happiness in a time of grief because she took the time to build that relationship. This should be our goal. So here's my advice to you. When you've had a bad day and you're tired and you're overwhelmed, and you all know you will be, maybe you're stressed about getting ready for this first day of school and you're sitting in another meeting, or maybe curriculum night is looming with parent conferences and report cards. There's always going to be something. And that child asks you that one more question, or wants you to look at one more thing, or is just acting a little goofy and your patience is growing thin. You might be tempted to tell that child, just please, just go sit down. Just give me a minute, I just need a breather. And when that hits you, I hope you will feel Joe tapping you on your shoulder, hearing his gentle prodding as if to say, hey, listen to me. I hope you'll think, what would I want someone to do for my child? What would I want someone to do for Joe? And then muster up the energy to get out the Play-Doh or to hear that story one more time. Even now, after all these years, I get caught up in all that we have to do. And I can sometimes feel myself tense up and flinch with the stress of all that's going on. And then I feel Joe tapping on my shoulder. Whether you're a brand new teacher or just a teacher new to Forsyth County, this is a lesson we all need to be reminded of on a daily basis. As you head off to your different classrooms at your different schools, think about all the Joeys on your classroom roster, and may we never forget to love each one as our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Try following that, right? To conclude this morning's district overview, I wanted to end focused, as Sharon did, on our primary customer, each and every one of our 46,000 students. What do I want for each of our kids? Number one, I want them to be safe. I want them to be appropriately challenged. I want them to be able to pursue their interests, to find school engaging, relevant, exciting, and fun. I want them to be respected. I want them to be respectful. I want them to be respectful of themselves, respectful of one another, respectful to you and all the adults that work with them. I want them to take personal responsibility for their own learning and their own behavior. I want them to want to come to school. And I believe we can achieve this if we truly focus on relationships. We are a people business. We are a relationship business. You know, it's been a really challenging summer for our nation. If you watch the news every day, it's easy to become jaded or cynical or doubtful about the world our students, our children will inherit from us. But what I have found to be true is that in spite of all the negativity that is taking place, all the negativity that is being reported, there is also a lot of good in this world. There are more good people than bad people. There is more love than hate. Acts of kindness do not get a lot of media play, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That doesn't mean it's not important. The one thing we have complete control over is how we treat one another. You probably have figured out by now, I expect you to be good to your students. I also expect you to model to your students how to be good to one another. How many Harry Potter fans do we have? So, me too. What did Professor Dumbledore say? It's our choices that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities. Let's all choose to set a consistent daily example for all of our kids on what it's like to be a caring, empathetic, selfless citizen. I want to make this interactive for a moment, so you have to play along with me, okay? I want all of you to think back when you were in school, whether it's elementary, middle, high school, but when you were in school. And I want you to think about the very best teacher you ever had. Somebody come to mind? With one or two word descriptors, just shout out, how would you describe that teacher in one or two words? Anybody? Fun, caring, loving. Say that again? Hard. Okay, challenging, okay. Encouraging. Engaging. Awesome. Erase that teacher for a second. I want you to think about the worst teacher you ever had without using any profanity. One or two word descriptors to describe that teacher. Bitter, boring, unprepared. Okay, we have lots of good counselors in our schools. So for those of you who need therapy after bringing that teacher back to mind. But the point of that is, the question is this: what type of teacher are you going to be? For those of you who are brand new, you're going to chart that course starting next Thursday. But for those of you who are veteran teachers, this is a new start. It's a new day. It's a new place. So what type of teacher are you going to be? What type of person do you want to be? What will be your legacy? You will be remembered. Will it be positive? Will it be negative? Will it be indifferent? Professor Dumbledore would tell you, and I would agree, the choice is yours. It has been said, and it is true, kids will not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Kids will not care how much you know until they know how much you care. Our students arrive next Thursday, August 4th. And on the night of August 3rd, I hope you have just a little trouble sleeping. Why? I hope you're a little nervous, because I will be. But more than that, I hope you're a lot excited. A lot excited. I have had the privilege of working in public education in some capacity since 1984. Some of you were not even alive then. Yes, I know that. But honestly, I'm just as excited for the 2016-17 school year as I was for the 1984-85 school year. My hair looks a little different, but I'm just as excited. I hope you are as well. I hope you have not only a great first day, I really want you to have a great first day, but I want every day to be great. And I want it to be an awesome first year. And I hope you find, more than anything else, that you've got a team working with you. Look at all these red shirts right in front of me, all from Forsyth Central High School. Required to sit in the front row. But I love that, because already they're building a team in their school with these new educators today. But I hope you find you have all the resources, all the support you need to be successful. And welcome once again to the Forsyth County Schools family. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Director of Professional Learning, Lynn C., who will review the remainder of today's activities. Thank you. Have a great first day.
Good morning. I just want to thank everybody who had a hand in making this morning happen. Jennifer Cratchill's in the back, our associate superintendents, of course our superintendent, the board members, some teacher leaders and others. Would you all join me in thanking them, please? Believe it or not, today's dictionary.com word of the day is inculcate. Now, I'm certain that all of you smart educators out there know what that means, but it's especially appropriate for today, and it's appropriate for the next year as you begin your career here at Forsyth County Schools. I'm not certain if you felt the same way I did, but every time I have seen that video that was shown a little earlier, I always think, I worked there in that district where all of that great stuff is happening. Where is Wendy Wilgus from Big Creek? Wendy, will you wave? I see you waving. Hey, Wendy. Wendy, according to what I checked, is the first person who tweeted this morning using our hashtag. Thank you, Wendy. Our hashtag FCS induction. And I invite all of you to please join Wendy and me and others and tweet about your experience over the next few days and in fact throughout this year of induction. Dr. Bearden asked earlier who has taken the It's Learning workshop, and so many people raised their hands. So I applaud you for giving up a few hours of your summer to participate in that experience. It will really benefit you. But I want to ask who took the class called DCD 101. Wow, that's about 150 plus hands that just went up that took the class DCD 101. And that's awesome. If you participated in DCD 101, we know that DCD stands for District Collaboration Day on July the 12th or the 14th, then your involvement in today's orientation and welcome is about to end, and you can return to your school. And then those of you who did not take the class earlier, then you need to stay for just a little bit longer, and you'll be engaged in some really fast and furious professional learning. It'll be worth your time, I promise. If you're unsure if you took DCD 101, then you can see me, and I have a roster, and we can verify that for you, okay? Because I know that some people were getting DCD 101 and It's Learning a little mixed up, so we'll help you get all of that clear. Remember, that's all part of our inculcation. So now, for now, we invite you to take this opportunity. It's not, it just clicked over to 9:15. Take this opportunity to visit the vendors again if you'd like.
to visit the restrooms or the porcelain facilities, take a stretch break. If you aren't one of the approximately 150 teachers who are exiting, then we ask that when you come back in, if you'll sort of come to the center, the middle, and instead of staying on the periphery, we'd be grateful. And we are just grateful for your time today. We just wish you the best year ever. Again, I'm Lynn C., Director of Professional Learning, and thank you and welcome.